We ain't telling Tom shit.
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
It's 2 minutes for roping. I like that. You're a jabroni.
Oh, it's Wednesday night. It's What the Show. My name is AJ Lancaster, and I'm one of the co-hosts.
I'm one of the deacons. The other deacon's upstairs. She'll be down here momentarily.
I'm here.
She's here.
I'm here.
She's here.
Oh.
I ain't saying a word.
We ain't telling Thomas anything.
Don't tell
Don't
Thomas.
tell Thomas.
I don't know anything about no prosciutto.
He don't know. Ooh, I made it.
Not
I
a
know nothing.
fucking word of this gets out to Thomas, everybody.
Fuck you, Thomas.
Yeah, fuck you, Thomas.
I
Not
would
even his
say
real name.
fuck you, but I wouldn't say anything to you. On God.
It's true.
You ain't worth the breath.
We have
Thank
no
you.
context.
No, he probably know Thomas is a lovely guy. I don't know. I feel bad if he's nice. I'm sorry, Thomas.
I won't say.
If
You won't
he's
find
a-
me talking.
If he's a
Do I
great guy,
need
I'm not going to
YA
tell him that.
novel? I mean, I'm always in shopping for a new YA novel. Do tell.
All right, so we're going to do something. I mean, we usually goof off. We talk about movies and all that, whatever it is. You know, if you listen, if it's your first time here,
How'd you find us?
why?
Yeah.
I've
Why?
shifted.
This is true.
But
It would be Thomas's first time
Oh. And fuck
we-
that guy.
if he was watching.
We all work service industry here, so we just figured it'd be fun to just get it all out there. You know, so just talk about those customer pet peeves, all that stuff. Just what grinds your gears. Juice, what is this?
Did I keep popping up? Or,
No.
or Thomas?
Both. Let's do both.
Both.
Yes.
Both.
I
William,
ain't talking-
welcome. We're
I
so
ain't
happy to
saying
have you
anything.
here.
Well, I've not really made much cocktails in my humble abode as of late, and so I thought finally time to bust out the shakers, whip myself up a nice daiquiri for this stream that I'm excited to enjoy. I've not had a daiquiri in a very long time. Excited for this sip. But no, I think what I think from with all we've said so far, it's better for me to not tell this story.
Okay.
I'll tell it off. I'll tell it off air.
Okay.
So
Just in case.
before we really dive into it, we do have a anecdotal thing. I almost named it something else. The stream something else today. We actually had a coworker who will remain anonymous.
Yes.
Who lost their job at a certain theme park because they started a podcast called Hospitality Horror Stories while
Wow.
working there.
Still working at
Ooh.
said theme park.
And
Oh.
it's like they're a
Episode.
fairly
Hope that
litigious
is
Yeah.
organization. Like,
Bold
that's the
move.
thing.
Yeah.
Bold move.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
problem is they stated their full names and where they worked in the very first episode.
ooh,
Maybe not their full names, but at least their first names
Yikes.
and where they worked.
And
Nice.
they suddenly lost their, and the
Yeah.
one of them had actually gotten out of restaurants, got like an actual office kind of job.
To make matters worse, had moved to the department that searches these things out to fire people for.
oh,
So if
wow.
anyone knew the rules, mind you, this person was new to this department, but still obviously had to apply, had to interview for this department, understood what they did.
Yeah.
And,
that's
like,
what they did.
Okay, did anybody here sign an NDA
Yikes.
before we get started?
No,
No NDAs. We're good.
no.
Nope.
People have had to sign NDAs before at our former employer,
Oh,
but we have not
like
at any point.
we have like individual stories, but the NDA one, that's that was on the news.
No, not that. I'm just saying, like people when they first went to go work at Epic everyone had to sign an NDA
Right.
before anything was. Now, obviously, it's all over the internet. We all know they're fine to talk about it, but for a period of time, when again the deal for basically Nintendo was made in the upstairs of our PDR, the two servers that had to sign an NDA because obviously they were going in another room and hearing certain things and it could not be disclosed. Obviously now they could say whatever they wanted to because it's out there. But at the time, I wasn't talking about that NDA. I was talking about more frivolous NDAs. But no, shockingly, at any point in time that I was with the company, I never had to sign an NDA for anything. But like people that we know have had to sign things. So yeah, the more you know.
See, go ahead.
Oh, I would say, well, the company that I work for, I've never had to sign an NDA because it's not like that kind of a thing. But like, we aren't allowed to. I believe there's a rule that we're not allowed to post basically anything on social media that's like about work, at least in the sense of like, yeah, like I don't think you could even like I don't even think you're allowed to like maybe like like
we're gonna be keeping it real vague here tonight.
We definitely are.
I don't think you could even post like, hey, I'm working 5 to 10 tonight, come on down. Like I don't think you're supposed to do that.
You can't tell people like if you're working in a mall on Halloween that like you dressed up as a slutty cat and to come see you.
Yeah.
You can't put that on Facebook, probably.
Probably can't.
No. We do things a little bit differently.
Nothing to do with
we do put it on Facebook.
But before we get too far, I just want you to know the other day, Juice, and I said this to Mike. I said, not to sound like Juice, but I have lost my chapstick. And I went through a whole thing and I found it. Just so you know, I did find it. But I was like, is this what Juice feels like? Oh, the Coors Banquet one is still around. This is what Juice feels like on the reg because...
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that must be right here.
Honestly, the fact that it is here, actually, this is not where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be with my other stuff. So the fact that I said it there, it probably means that I'm about to lose it.
You're about to lose that. That's good. Farewell, friend.
It's a little ominous.
You're bigger than the whole sky. Carry on.
Going back to like the NBA stuff. Wow. Like, none of the places I worked were like outright. You don't post anything, like especially if they were promoting something, they're like, by all means, share that.
Yeah.
And there were certain things when I opened the one of the restaurants I was at, because it was brand new, we were not allowed to disclose anything about the menu. So I guess that's kind of something that was somewhat of an NDA kind of like. I don't think I had to sign anything saying I wouldn't, but basically it was like, if you post anything about this, you're done. Like.
Day one of Universal orientation. I'm gonna say Universal. It's fine. I love them. 10 out of 10. If you live in Orlando and you're looking for a job, you should go work for Universal. I think they're a great company. I'm gonna put on blast. I don't work there anymore. It's fine. But day one of Universal orientation, they basically were like, we love Universal and we know you're gonna love Universal too. And if you want to post positive things, that's great, but don't post anything negative, which I feel like is like a basic, like most jobs kind of situation. Yeah. But obviously, like, you work at a theme park, they want you to talk about it. They just like don't want you to like say anything negative or again reveal any like trade secrety type stuff. But other than that, they don't care.
The secret to cane sauce is MSG, everybody. It's why it's so good. I'm going to piggyback on what Bethany said. Like we had when we opened said venue, there was like a page for like the servers created, like that was a private page,
And there was one schmuck who, anytime he saw somebody post something like that disagreed with something or something, sent it to the training team. Like, was intention. We all figured out, we sussed out who it was and got the guy fired, actually, when everyone was like waiting for him to do something wrong. Everyone was,
I know. I was like, that's intense.
Yeah. Oh, that dude definitely, it was for something stupid.
Wait, the rack, the guy that was ratting him out got fired?
Oh, the rat got fired. Because everybody, once it was discovered who it was, everybody was gunning for him. And basically he got
anything he had done.
Yeah, so he got caught actually eating food in the back, and immediately somebody caught him, and it was like a manager, and he denied it. And then, it was one of those things where like, well, we have to suspend you, and he quit. But this prick, like, literally, people were talking about like the opening procedures and the tests we had to take. I actually was like, I can't see any scenario that they really wouldn't let someone on the floor. And I got called into the office the next day. I'm like, how the fuck do you even know about this? And B, what I said was nothing public.
Thing.
And,
I'm like not.
Yeah, it wasn't public. It was a negative. Yeah.
And so, like, as soon as everybody figured out who he was, man, I don't think he lasted 3 days once it was figured out who it was who did that.
This is the funny. Sorry, go ahead, AJ.
I was just saying, nobody likes a tattletale, even in management. So, like, at that point, it's like you put the target on your own back.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Good stitches, 100%. Speaking of food, though, about like being caught stealing food, whatever, it's so funny at Universal. So they do something that's like really smart and honestly has like a nice perk, but it's also mostly it's a loss prevention thing. Like, they don't want you stealing food from your own venue, which like people would, or they don't want you like everyone trying to eat, meals from their own venue and backing up the kitchen, which already has long ticket times because you're trying to put in your meal, blah, 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 blah. They did actually change that later on where you could use, but they had this thing called a meal voucher. So anyone who worked in food and beverage got basically a $4 meal voucher to take to like the employee cafeterias. Now the employee cafeterias were open to anyone, but every other department had to pay. We basically, if you worked in food and beverage, ate for free. And they did that to basically deter you from stealing food because they were like, we'll give you a free meal every day. Just don't steal it from your venue or don't back up like your kitchen times, whatever. Now, later on, it did kind of become a thing that people were like, it's kind of stupid that like upper management or managers can use it to get things from real venues. And we are eating basically cafeteria food. And enough people complained that they finally were like, you know what, you can use it at your venue. But again, you have to basically ask permission first and make sure that it's not like a bad time for the kitchen to do it. So at the end of your shift, if you wanted to, you could basically get a free meal from your venue, which was very nice. So again, big up to Universal. But yeah, like it was really nice because basically like you never had to worry about like packing a lunch or like spending money on food at work or anything like that because like you were basically, if you showed up and worked a shift, you were guaranteed a free meal if you worked in food and beverage, which I always thought was a nice like perk of our department.
However, there were people who, again, the reasons people got fired
people
for the
got
dumbest
fired
reasons.
for the dumbest shit.
So anytime you got your free meal, you had to scan your ID, and there were several people who got fired for scanning their ID twice in a day and trying to get 2 free meals. Yeah. Literally lost their jobs from trying to go to the cafeteria twice.
Which is like
this awakens something in me.
For money. And we worked in a job where again you walked home with cash every day, and I was like, how desperate are you? You were leaving this day with the money that you made in your pocket. Like you were really trying to work the system. But yeah, it was always like weird, like meal voucher things. I literally got so many people. Stupid stuff. That and selling tickets, like selling comp tickets. They always know. Universal's like Baskin Robbins. Anything
they always find out.
Park and you get comp tickets. Do
not sell them.
It's so fucking like it's so dumb. It's the dumbest reason to lose your job. Like it's so not worth it. Like you picking up like $20 from a friend is not worth you losing your cush job. Like it just isn't.
So this awakens something in me from Jimmy John's back in the day. So we did this thing. It was one of those places that we gut the subs, right?
Yeah.
You take the bread guts out, unless it's like there's certain sandwiches you do, some certain ones you don't. It feels kind of like if you're already packaged and like you'd like already had your shift meal earlier the day. We were working 15-hour days sometimes,
Right.
right? It's one of those things. Like, go ahead, take some fresh, warm bread guts, take your gloves off, go in the back, eat it, wash your hands, get back on the line, make more sandwiches. Derek started wrapping his in bacon, started stealing bacon. You
Derek,
ruined the
that's
bread
a
guts
big
thing for
downfall.
everybody. Fuck you,
Mhm.
Derek.
Yeah, no
I
one was going
hate
to call you out on the bread
corrections.
guts.
Yeah.
But one person
So
has to
this
take
is
it a
kind-
little bit too far, and it screws everyone over. Luna.
Yeah, we were allowed to
So-
like drizzle a
so
little
this is
olive oil on there,
interesting.
but like,
Yeah, that's
It's interesting on that. So this is not where I work, so I can be a little more talkative about it, but it's where my friend works. And he like recently joined. It's some local restaurants, so it's not a chain or anything. It's some local restaurants, or one person owns like 3 restaurants basically.
local place
they all
called
kind of work.
Bonefish.
they all work for the one guy. So they had a rule where basically all of the workers, doesn't matter, if you work that day or not, you always can eat and drink for 50% off.
Mhm.
So, and it's expensive. It's a higher end place, or it's not like it's not like a dive,
Mhm.
Right.
place. It's a
It's dine-in
more
prices,
expensive place. So right, $20-$30 entrees and stuff, and expensive like $10-$15 drinks. So what ended up like happening was you just had like, it turned into this culture where like basically at the end of the night, like the restaurant was just full of employees, and so you'd get to like points of the night where guests are still like trying to come in and sit at the bar, and there's no seats available for them to go sit at the bar, because it's just all employees. So the overcorrection was to like fire 5-6 people, obviously take it away fully. I'm not sure if it got reduced to like much lower or how that worked, but like, yeah, of course it's not like let's find a solution that works for everybody. It's just
Okay,
right
so
to the.
Yeah.
So-
here's the question I want.
But I
everybody
don't.
to- What's the wildest thing that you've ever done to a customer that you could
The
share
wildest
online on the internet?
I had a customer piss me off so much at Universal. This guy, I was ready to walk out. I was trying to get security there to try to breathalyze him to get him kicked off property because he pissed me off that much. Ohio
So-
State fan.
Typical.
Nice. OH, let's go.
He pissed me off so much. I was trying to get him kicked off the property.
Fuck Michigan. But I think my record all time was we had a bottle in stock and a customer wanted to try it. And I said, unfortunately, we don't have a tester. We're limited for our tester budget. I never get 2 more of this product, so I can't open one up. And they're like, well, can you tell your boss I want to try it? And I was like, my boss? Who do you want me to speak to exactly? Like the store manager or something like that? I was like, yeah, the store manager would be great. Guys, I took the store phone. I called my phone. I dial on my phone number. I call it. Put the store phone up to my ear. Second, it's ringing.
It's so mean, Mario.
I've had this title. It was at that point 3 years. I think I'm pretty familiar with our policy and procedures. They bought both bottles, guys. Both the ones we had in stock.
Wow.
I like that.
That's
it
a left
worked.
turn.
I like that it worked. Honestly, if someone did something that funny and that ballsy, I'd be like, respect.
Yeah.
Respect. 100%. I'm here for it.
My most recent. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like I'm super lame. Like, I don't have any cool things that I've like really ever done. I like get kind of passive aggressive. There's a few times if I had really bad tables, I would basically refuse to go back to them. I would like have a manager go take them their check and be like, I'm done. Like, I'm not going back to that table. They have been terrible to me. But I honestly have never, like, I wish I had like a really fun, clever thing that I've ever done in any kind of like customer service facing role. But I'm so lame. I just like go and cry in the walk-in, and then I come back and I'm like, how we doing here?
So up until I'd say about 2 years ago at my job, everybody who had ever worked my job had cried there, and we'd start chanting "One of us" every time. Like, the first time you cry at work, one of us, one of us.
Honestly, that would be reassuring to me. Like, that would kind of make me feel better in a weird way. I'm not gonna lie.
I remember there's two guests I had that were I have three, and they're all kind of similar stories in terms of how and why it happened. The first one I'll never forget. I was working at the steakhouse in Virginia, and it is
Sorry. I didn't want to interrupt you.
Literally Christmas Eve, and this lady comes in, and it's a family of like 6, and she's like, "I'll have the kids' prime rib." Does not exist. That item does not exist. It's not on the menu. So I'm like,
I'll also have the kids' bourbon to go with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what I used to do, like kind of like jokingly, is like, I'm gonna start over. I walk away, I come back and reintroduce myself if I had somebody who was that bad when I was at the steakhouse, because I'm like, we're gonna hit the reset button and we're gonna start over. And usually it got people to laugh, and usually it worked. This lady loses her mind. I go to my manager at that point. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this lady. She's just being completely irrational. So he goes and he talks to the table. He literally comes back to me. He's like, I have never done this, but I'm going to apologize to you that you had to deal with that woman, because that is one of the most irrational people I've ever met in my life.
She cried.
Oh my gosh.
Number 2, right after we reopened from the pandemic and everybody's first going back into public for the first time, there's a couple, it's a husband and wife. They have their meal. Everything is totally fine. Ladies definitely had a couple of drinks through the day, but the meal goes fine. And she's like, it's my birthday. I'm like, oh, well, happy birthday. And Universal doesn't go crazy overboard on birthdays or anything like that. But, we acknowledge it and things like that. And sometimes we'll get them like a small dessert or something if they're cool. And she's like, so where's my discount? So I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, yeah, I want a discount. So I'm like, well, I'd be happy to get you a dessert or something, but we offer discounts to annual pass holders. She's like, well, I'm an annual pass holder. I'm like, well, do you have your annual pass on you? Why would I have that on me? So she's clearly, and then her husband starts screaming at her. He's like, you're not doing this again. This is not
again.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Legend.
So,
it's the third time this week she's bitched about her
This
birthday.
week.
That's not the creme de la creme for me, though, in terms of psychopaths. All 3 of these people I'm mentioning are probably ladies between like 35 and 45. I'm just estimating, and all of them. The last one, this one was the most psychotic person I've ever met in my life, I think. Sitting down, they order a fish item. We didn't actually keep it on the menu very long because it really wasn't very popular. This lady takes one bite of the fish. There's no signs prior to her getting her meal that I have any problem. Like, she's acting normal. Takes one bite of the fish and then gets up off the table and starts going to other tables and pushing things on the ground, and
I also just had a psychotic break.
So, but again, very similar to the last one. One of the people at the table is like, well, there she goes again. And
You're like, this is a common occurrence?
Wow.
I literally go to there was a new manager at the time. He wound up in the long run becoming the GM, and he's actually gone pretty high into the company. He's doing pretty well for himself. And he comes back to me. He's like, I don't even know what to do with that. And the GM at the time, he was never on the floor.
Sure wasn't.
He was never, ever on the floor. He was always in the office. He happened to walk downstairs, and he walks over to that table, and he's just like, let's just get them the fuck out of here. He hits like a 70% off on their check. The lady has now made her way to the second floor and is trashing tables, unbussed tables on the second floor. And she's on the main floor. Yeah. It's one of the biggest tips I've ever gotten in my life, because the husbands were also like mortified, but like they knew it was coming. It's like, how do you know something like this is going to happen? And
why do you take this person in public?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I'd be like, oh, I don't know.
So
she's fit for that.
The very funny thing is
I have a good story after this.
About a year and a half ago, I went to the manager who was like the entry level one, and he's gone up to the company. You know, I know him to the point that I'm very conversational with him, and I was like, "Do you remember that time?" And he's like, "The lady with the fish."
How do you forget? How do you forget the lady with the fish? Shoot.
But she was throwing plates on the floor, like breaking plates.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I have a good story from when I was not working at the bar, but when I was at a bar, and I'm going to make this a candidate for the villains list, or possibly heroes list, depending on how you look at it, or chaotic neutral, or all three. But anyways, so and not to harpen too much on, you know, we're very pro women here at What the Show. However, there's some that we are not pro. There's a few. But anyway, so I'm in like my I'm in my local, you know, little like Sunday afternoon pub. It's usually not that many people in there. It's nice, relaxing. They have free peanuts. You can just sit there, eat peanuts, be on your phone. I've started many a conversation in there, in the What the Show chat. So anyways, so this is not a calm, quiet day, and I have notes because I wrote it all down to make sure I remember the story.
Oh man, there's notes.
So
okay.
So the lady, so there's like a man who turns out to be the husband, and then his wife, and then they had a friend with them, or like she had a friend. So three of them are there talking, and they're cool, except the lady, the wife is very loud, very annoying, just talking loud, like unnecessarily loud. And you can tell like someone that likely has money and is like just or very entitled and up, like just some of the things she's saying, very like a very entitled, middle-aged, probably middle upper class lady. And so like I think her husband would tell her, I don't even know, like try to like somewhat just kind of like bring the tone down. She'd tell him to shut the F up, like all this stuff. And then like also talking at the same time about how they have the perfect marriage, while they're like clearly bickering. So they start like arguing. The husband's calm throughout it. And so, yeah, this big argument starts for no reason. He's completely calm. Finally, she says, "You should just leave." He does. He gets up, gets in the car, and drives away. And this whole time, me and the bartender, who's this guy, I've got to know him over the years ago in there. Yeah. Great guy. Just kind of like, I think semi-retired, works there one day a week for extra cash. Like just a chill dude. He loves what he does. We're making eye contact and like snickering this whole time because we just both recognize how crazy this situation is. So he does. So he's gone. He's out. So she, of course, jumps into this. Oh my gosh, how can he, like, talking about all of my trauma and the triggering and all this stuff. Goes outside, is like calling him, has a complete meltdown. Finally, he comes back. They come back in, and then they just start to argue. They just are arguing again. And then all of a sudden, a flip switches, and like the conversation gets slightly changed, and they are just back to normal, like nothing ever happened.
Oh my god! And I bet they don't count that as a fight. That's why they never fight.
And then
can we get them on?
And then I know, but like, it's great. Everything's normal. Oh, and when they're outside, me and the bartender were absolutely talking, but with other guests in the bar and stuff too. We were all like, "What in the world?" So then everything's normal, and finally they leave. Like, they all leave, and we're like, "Wow, okay, very interesting." Then the unexpected occurs. Suddenly, they all show back up, but not just them. The lady who was her friend brought like her entire family. All of a sudden, there is like 6 adults and like 4 children running around. And this is not like a family restaurant. This is just a dive bar.
It's a pub, yeah.
And all of a sudden, like the one lady is teaching like one of the kids the slot machines. Like, there's just, like, it's just complete chaos. So it goes from just a couple arguing to him leaving, coming back, arguing normal. They all leave, and then comes back, and there's just a family running around the bar. And finally, like, I couldn't stay. I had to get going, so I closed out and left. But it was one of the more bizarre Sunday afternoons.
Oh, yeah, I would
that I've
say.
had.
I would definitely say.
You jogged my memory on something that's it's different, but you jogged my memory on a story before I was working in the
I'm
industry.
listening. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I'm listening. I'll be right back.
So my roommates and I, we always had our local pub when I was in Virginia, and we started going down there on Monday nights because when it wasn't football season, nobody was there. Like, nobody went to the pub on Monday nights. And we started bringing Cards Against Humanity and playing with the bartender and the bouncer because there was like next to nobody there. And if anybody happened to be there, we'd offer them to play with us. So this one particular night, the bar closed at 2. For the first time ever, the bartender's like, "Yo, you, me and my roommate Joe, like, you can stay after we're closed. Just hang tight." And there's this one other person at the end of the bar he's kind of intoxicated. They call him a cab. So they get him out of the bar, get him out, and they lock up, and they come back, and they're like, "Okay, you're kind of in our circle now. After hours, you can drink draft beers. You know, we really can't do too much else, but you can drink draft beers. It's on us. We're going to keep playing games while we close, but we're enjoying your company, so blah, blah, blah." Cool night. About 20 minutes later, the drunk guy comes back in the cab, somehow gets back to the bar. I don't know if he couldn't tell them where his house was or what. Gets out of the cab, falls on the concrete, and cuts his skull open. And all of a sudden, we have to call the ambulance to come pick this guy up because he boomeranged back to the bar and fell and cracked his skull on the concrete. Yeah.
Okay, you don't need to call an ambulance. You need some bleach and some lye and. So, parallel story that happened, like the staying after hours part, pretty much similar thing, except for the one guy there when he was like, he said on his way out, "Why does he get to stay?" They said, "Because he works here," and they said, "AJ doesn't fucking work here." And I was like, "Do I know you?" It's like, "You trained me in Jimmy John's."
That's funny.
Completely
That's
didn't
awesome.
know.
AJ doesn't work here.
AJ doesn't fucking work here. Oh,
what you're
man.
saying is you're
That's
Haley
fantastic.
Steinfeld in Sinners. They're like, she's family.
She's family.
She gets to stay.
Juice, have you seen Sinners yet?
No.
I was gonna say Juice never sees movies until
Juice.
December.
Sinners is like so up your alley. I really think. I know you.
I'm
wait
sure
until
it would-
the end of the
yeah,
year
I'm
to
sure I'll
watch all
love
the Movies, but I really think you'll enjoy it.
It will be to his benefit to wait. So, like, anything that you might know about it right now is out of your head. So when you watch it, you
Yeah,
are
I really don't know. I really don't. Yeah, I really haven't.
learn
looked
nothing.
at it.
Learn nothing
But,
before you watch it.
No, absolutely
Yeah.
nothing about this
Yeah.
movie. And just go in and watch it.
Yeah,
It's
Sinners rock, by the way.
AJ doesn't work here.
AJ doesn't work. That's a shirt. It doesn't work here.
Yeah,
So.
I need that. I need that for the next HHN.
But here's the thing, though. Like in my specific industries I've worked in, they're typically mostly female employees, and usually like 50-50 men to women, if not leaning more male than female customers. Right. I get more men pissed off complaining than women 4-1.
Oh, men are the worst. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I love y'all, but
I think it depends on the industry.
Worst.
It depends on the industry you're in.
Yeah.
Which is going to be better. 100%.
What I will say is, and my dear, dear loving husband is an absolute testament to this. Men have absolutely no patience. Absolutely no patience. And that is kind of a thing sometimes. That's a problem when, again, you're working in the service industry sometimes and food is taking a long time or this is happening. Like nothing ever happens at the pace of which a man likes. Men do not like waiting in lines.
Lines
so
suck.
on and so forth.
I
love a queue.
I hate lines. I don't mind waiting for food. I don't get like hangry and crabby when I don't have food in front of me.
If I'm sitting down, I'm okay. If I'm in a line,
if he's got a drink in front of him, he's chilling in a chair. He's a happy
guy.
If
you have a drink, like
he'll wait 45 minutes for his food. But you ask this man to wait in the line, he ain't having it.
No.
I'm the other hand, thrive living in waiting in a line. Put me in a 5-hour queue, baby. Let's go.
But lines and queues are different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but I'll queue for anything. Not anything, but I'll queue for a lot of things. I have very happy memories queuing for things.
And solo line waiting, like, is different.
I can also do that.
No, she's the first time that shortly after we first started dating was the first time we went to a Star Wars celebration. I only went to one day and I showed up at like noon. Like, cause at this point I was not really convention savvy. It was the first convention I ever went to. I did not really realize how things were with that, waiting for panels and things like that. I was not in tune with that at that point. So when I walked in there, I was like, this is just like a fucking flea market. Was my first initial thought when I got there the first time.
More. It's so much more.
But it's okay. It's in the same genre, right?
There are flea market aspects to a con, 1,000%.
In the main floor,
like you can have a burger
expo
or you can have like a Michelin star burger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Like it's a burger, but. Sorry, cut you off, Juice, for like a dumb analogy.
I love making friends with people in line. I'll sit there and read a book. It's fine. I'm chill. What an experience. 10 out of 10. I went to an entire day of Star Wars Celebration by myself, and honestly, I'd fucking do it again. It was great.
Well, I did. When I did Star Wars Celebration, I was with Jacob Whitney a little bit, but for the most part, I was by myself. And I will say, I do remember a lot of the conversations that I had in lines with other people. However, usually that was somewhat Schmodown related. And it was the first time that I was ever like having an actual conversation about like the Schmodown and those people.
Yeah.
We were
for the first time.
That weekend was the same way for us.
Yeah, that's definitely that's very fair. But that's like the thing about something like waiting in a queue at a convention is it's like you are surrounded by hundreds of people that have the same interest as you. Like there's something you can find to talk about. And then again, the one thing you're interested in might end up being like my very first Star Wars Celebration in Orlando. I'm like, I love that we're like totally getting off topic, but this is what the show. So of course we are. The first day I went and was there, at the crack of dawn to queue up and stuff for the Rebels panel. We ended up in line next to these people. Obviously, we're all there for Star Wars. We're talking Star Wars. And then I don't even know. I think the guy mentioned something about Collider. And I was like, yeah, I watch them daily. Like, I love them. And so he's like, oh, I know where they sit in the panels because, this is like my my second day here. And I noticed like this is where like they tend to sit, blah, blah, whatever. And so that's how I met Mark Ellis for the first time, is because this random person I haven't talked to in a while also watched Collider stuff and was like, yeah, they're going to go right outside the panel. They're going to film their little bit. Like we've all seen, like back in the day, obviously when Collider was like more of a thing than it is now, that we all saw when they used to go to the conventions.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like there was, like Perry Nemiroff and Mark Ellis and obviously Harloff was there and stuff too. And so everyone just kind of like waited around till they were done filming, and then you just like walked up and talked to them or whatever. And again, like, but of course, that's like if you like one nerdy thing, chances are you like another nerdy thing.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I was like, oh, like I like Collider, but also I really like them on the Schmodown. And I was like, I don't know if you watch that. Because in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm like the only one who watches it. Like, what a nerdy thing. And then he's like, yeah, fucking course. Like, I watch that. And I was like, oh. And then we started conversing about that. So like, yeah, that's the beauty of being a nerd. Like, if you like one thing, chances are they like other weird things that you like too.
I do love that at least at one Horror Nights queue a year, we do end up playing Heads Up because of that one group of people that suck at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the Heads Up. I remember my first time. So meeting like all the Schmodown people, which at that point we had all become friends. So we didn't even care about the actual Schmodown people. We just cared about meeting our friends in person.
Yeah, exactly.
So like 20, so everything post 2020 is like for that stuff, like whatever.
Situation.
The one time at Celebration in Chicago, when I remember the first day I was walking around the panel. I was only there for a couple hours, and I was walking through, and I just stumble across Ken Knapsack, Mark Ellis, a couple of the other, like, I think maybe like that, like a couple of the other guys that that like were participating in the show. Like, I think maybe Darina, like just some like
so the people
random
making the show happen.
Right. Some of the like the producers and stuff. But I just remember like I was dressed up as Obi-Wan, and like Ken Knapsack turns to me and is just like, Obi. And I like forgot I was like, why am I wearing this stupid costume? I'm not Obi-Wan, I'm the Juice. But that was actually
and then Ken was
anyways,
like, I know you're not an Obi-Wan son.
That'd have been great.
I could
But,
see
like,
that situation playing out.
yeah. No, but it was just so like I literally lost. It was the first time I think I ever, really the only time I've ever been like starstruck, where it was like, holy crap, these people that have been watching on a screen for the last like 4 years are standing in front of me.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, it's like
the dynamic changed a lot from that point forward.
Yeah.
I will say that like meeting them, like meeting like Schmodown related people has been like, I don't think I would get starstruck with most people because we were so into that culture. Like I was really into that culture, and then it was like, oh, cool. Like they're
right.
There are people that are nice. There are people that I like, but it's like, this is very easy to get over any sort of intimidation. Like, I think I could walk into a room with Tom Cruise and be like, "What's up, man?" Like, and just not have my heartbeat rise like much.
The way that my brain, like Juice was saying, it's like you watch these people. It's like obviously you understand they're a real person, but I do think it's a very interesting phenomena, like how we are as people when you have like a parasocial relationship with a celebrity or someone that you watch on something like a YouTube channel or whatever. Is it's like you still kind of like your brain doesn't completely understand that they're a real person because you've never seen them in person. So the first time you see them, you're just like, oh, you are real. And I feel like every time I've ever seen a quote unquote famous person in person, like again, speaking of the Star Wars Celebration, like when J.J. Abrams was right there on the celebration stage, like a few feet away from us, I was like, I know he's a real person. Like my brain computes that he's a real person, but he's sitting in front of me talking now, and that's fucking wild. Like I don't know, like, that blows my mind.
Or like I saw the lead singer Buck Cherry in a food court. He was eating French fries with a fork. What?
That's fantastic. Well, actually, I was gonna bring this up. I was debating sending something in the show. Are you like the cheese company Sargento?
Yeah.
That you're familiar? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so they operate like a town or two over. And I was my coworker at the church is like is the president of the village like chamber of commerce, and so he asked me to DJ it because the last year they did it, like the sound equipment was like really bad, so he asked me to bring our stuff and DJ it, and so I did that last night. And we had like the CEO of Sargento was like the guest speaker, and because I'm with the president, I'm just sitting next to him at the table just on a random Tuesday night,
Literally next to the head
and
cheese.
And he's referring to me as and my coworkers were referring to me as the juice. He's like, "Oh yeah, the juice will be right over." Like, so the CEO of Sargento knows I'm the juice.
And knows you as the juice. Honestly, what did I
But just
talk
a
to?
total, but super sweet guy. Told like all his family story, and actually a part of it was pretty cool because I wanted to, like, it's in a room full of Dutch people, and I just wanted to stand up and start clapping when he brought up, because it was like his family is like Gent something, and then there's like Sartini was like another founder, and so they combined their name Sargent and then added the O to sound Italian. And as soon as he said that, I wanted to stand up and start clapping. But then
Did you
like,
have the Italian?
he's like,
because
I should have. I know. I did. It's not Italian. It's Italian.
Was it a preview in front of Revenge of the Sith that I was like, but are they Italian? Oh, no. It was in Sinners. Because they were like, we have Irish beer and we have Italian wine. And I was like, but is it Italian? I leaned over to Mike and I said that. And I was proud of myself for that.
Okay.
By the way.
Okay.
Did you realize that, like, I'm keeping it as vague as possible? One wore an Italian hat, the other one wore an Irish hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't until my second time seeing the movie.
Oh, I had this whole breakdown conversation, again, vague as possible, with a friend from work about the entire like costume design and like what. Yeah, but yeah, I won't. Mm-hmm.
Did Mike tell you my thing about the score that I realized? And I'm keeping this vague.
No, he did not tell me.
Okay. I'll tell you after this.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you when Juice isn't there, because when I realized it, it was bomb. I love Sinners. Seriously.
Once we're off air, I got to tell my Thomas story, and then I'll jump off.
I want to hear the Thomas story.
So we also saw Revenge of the Sith this weekend, and
I already know where this is going.
So we're watching it, and we've all obviously seen Revenge of the Sith probably many, many times for most of us. Natalie Portman does not put in her best performance. So literally, anytime
you don't say.
She was
this
about
is a fair point, but I feel like you were a little.
So anytime she delivered a line on screen, I looked over at Bethany and mouthed like this.
Every time. Every time. And I'm like.
But she is the RG3 of actresses. She is high ceiling, low floor.
That is fair.
Yes.
Like,
on rocks.
She's a very good actress. Again, everyone that's in the Star Wars prequels, honestly,
they're all very good. Yeah.
Most people are very good actors. It's just not their best work, and that's not their fault. It's
just a matter of how they interpreted what they were given. And all of them interpreted it very differently. So
also,
Hayden
I watched
Christian
the other day that was just so accurate. But you know what? My friend brought up a point that I was like, you know what? That's fair. Literally, George Lucas gives 0 fucks about how people are pronouncing names. Like in the original trilogy, he was like 0 fucks. Then the prequels, they're like Padme.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not her effing name. That's not her effing name. And yet they just let them get away with it. And then my friend was like, well, I guess it's kind of true to life that like people mispronounce people's names all the time. And I was like, not their effing husband. Their effing husband should know how to say their name.
It's him saying it. He needs to pronounce it correctly. Then they need to go out somewhere and somebody else is they go to Space Starbucks They go to Starbucks. God damn it. And then like, you know, the barista like says it wrong, and then she's like, she has an aside with him like every damn time. That's how that goes down in real life.
Yeah, that's how it goes down in real life. Not your actual significant other not knowing how to pronounce your name. And then it's like Obi-Wan switches. Like Ewan McGregor, like every once in a while he'll say Padme, and then other times he too gets caught in the Padme trap. And I'm like, what are you doing? That's great.
Oh man.
10 out of 10. Would recommend.
So
Again, I say with love.
boomerang back to the whole line thing. The day after we got engaged, I saw the worst of humanity and the best of humanity in the same.
The best and worst
circle.
of the Star Wars fandom.
So
Well, not the worst. The worst is people being racist pieces of shit to poor actors on the internet. But part of the worst of the Star Wars fandom.
So to make this as succinct as possible, we were going to. It was a poster signing, correct? It was.
So the artwork, it's actually hanging up on our gallery wall, but you can't see it. But anyways, that one right there. It's called Sisters of the Force. And it was a collaboration between Ashley Taylor, who is an artist and friends with Ashley Eckstein, who, of course, is the creator of her universe / the voice actress of Ahsoka Tano. Anyways, they came up with this thing. It was both a print and her universe made like a shirt design out of it or whatever, which I haven't owned the shirt and the print. And so it was a signing. So, of course, we just got engaged. I saw that was happening, but I'd already requested off May 4th because I didn't know it was getting proposed to. I just thought it was Star Wars Day, you know? So I was like, oh, shoot, of course they're coming on Revenge of the 5th, and I'd love to go to that, but, like, I have to go to work, whatever. Well, then we got engaged, baby, and I was like, F it. Like, we deserve this. We deserve to go meet Ashley Eckstein. I was just proposed to in her Padme dress, like her universe dress. I would like to go meet these two lovely ladies and buy this print and have them sign it. So we go to Disney Springs. We get there at like a reasonable time. We're like, okay, it's going to be a wait. And basically it was like a virtual. Again, this is why I'd rather just let me mother effing queue for something. When you do these virtual things, this is where you get screwed over. We show up. They don't want people queuing and like, you know, I get it. It's a fire hazard, blah, blah, whatever. But they don't want just people just standing in line, right? So basically there's a Disney employee who's like, I'm going to put your name and your number and you've been held a virtual spot in line and we'll text you when you're allowed to come back. Okay, cool. So we had to wait in a baby line to like get up to the iPad person to put it in. And we're behind this other couple who had just gotten married yesterday on May 4th. So we're like, oh my God, we got engaged on May 4th. And we got, again, obviously everyone there is Star Wars fans. It's beautiful. We're all like, love, yes. Oh my God. Yeah, love that you guys got married. Love that you got engaged. Yada, yada, yada. We have to buy the print, obviously, which was sold there to have them sign it. So we buy the print. Yada, yada, yada. We're good to go. We get our name in. There's this like jabroni behind us.
One person.
Who keeps calling people and texting people, and it's going to be a whole group, but like he's one person. And to be clear, yeah, Jeff, the jabroni, he is one mother effing person. Our whole party was there. We tell the iPad person 2 people, blah, 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 blah. So anywho, Ashley Eckstein's nephew's birthday was that day. They had been signing for close to 3 hours. We had been waiting around now for 4 hours because we got there an hour before, and now we've been waiting 3 hours. So he virtually called. So anywho, we kind of start. We go over to the Lava Lounge at the Rainforest Cafe. Have a little mozzarella stick, little drinky drink. We're chilling. We're trying not to go too far. Then we start seeing like, okay, like because we would get text updates, so like kind of where you were like in the queue. And I was like, okay, like let's go back around. We see that wonderful couple. So they tell us, I'm so sorry. Both the Ashleys love y'all and they wish they could sign forever, but they have to wrap up soon. They have a couple more people they can do because Ashley Eckstein's nephew's birthday is today and she's a wonderful aunt and she can't miss his birthday. So Ashley's like, I'm so sorry, guys. So we'll take like a group selfie. I'm so sorry. Da, 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 da. And we're like, okay, but we're like, the couple that was in front of us is being called. And they said they're only letting a couple more people through. We are next. Awesome. So we are not next. Because I swear to God, this mother effing jabroni behind us must have slipped that cast member something, or I don't know what happened. But all of a sudden, he gets called in front of us. Couple in front of us vouches for us. They're like, no.
They're arguing for us. They're
like, those people were behind us. For a fact, they were behind us. We talked to them. They got engaged yesterday. We got married yesterday. We had this whole beautiful bonding moment. Da, 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 da. You were allowed to get 2 things signed, okay? They had the print. They had one other thing. We get screwed out of, we were supposed to be basically the last people to meet the Ashleys. And they turn to us and they go, give us your print. Beautiful. We love that. Yeah. so much. So they didn't get their other thing signed that they originally came with that they wanted to get signed because they wanted to make sure that we got our print signed because we were there fair and square. We should have been the ones next.
Facebook friends.
This other effing group, which again, only one guy was there. All 5 of them suddenly are there and they're all getting things signed and they're getting this whole conversation with the Ashleys and we're just standing there like, that should be us. But anyways, the lovely couple gives us our print because they just went, they got their picture, whatever. And then again, so we're like, you know what? The best and the worst of, you know, the fandom right here. Like these people, blah, blah, blah. And then you weren't even here. They get to go in front of us and they like definitely did something shady. But this wonderful couple in front of us, like got us our print. That's so nice of them. And then again, they had this like kind of big selfie or whatever. And they kind of like went around and quickly hugged everyone. And so Mike had the picture ready and was like, we got engaged yesterday.
And she's wearing the dress.
Oh my God. And they gave us big hugs and they were like, congratulations. And they took an individual selfie with us. So like all's well that ends well. It was a beautiful moment. But yes, he already hates waiting in lines. And it was like,
well, add a jabroni into it.
And then, add a jabroni into it. Like, he was fuming. Like, he was ready to go.
I wanted to punch the guy who worked there more than anybody.
Yeah, he was being, like, a real dick to us. And again, like, we weren't even, like, trying to cause that much of a fuss. We were just, like, we know for a fact we were behind those people.
With them.
And that couple was, like, really going to bat for us. And they're like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this, we know these couple was behind us, da-da-da-da. And yeah, and like this cast member was just like, I don't know, like he said something really prickish, and I was like, okay, dick.
They clearly slipped him like a 50 or something.
Well, and it's like, at the end of the day, it's good on them. Like what I've noticed, and I think that everybody's worked in the service industry for the past, I'll call it 7 years or so. People are getting worse.
Yeah.
Yes, people are getting worse. Oh my God. Post-pandemic, people are out of control, honestly.
Like 6 weeks permanently impacted people's ability to communicate. And it's our jobs to go out and try and accommodate for them. And you like, if you love people, I love people. It's so hard to just keep at it when you're just like, I'm trying to help you. Lock in, let's go. I want to make this experience better for you. You're hurting me. You're hurting me. Stop. But I just it's hearing things like that. That's like, that's so cool, and I want to try to do more things like that. Try, everybody. If you
couple is, I really hope they're doing well, and I'm really sad that we didn't like social media, like Facebook request them or something.
We should have went on a double.
We should have, gone and met up with them. Like they were clearly locals. What a regret. Anyways, good.
And if I can, this week's assignment, try to do something nice for somebody. Yeah. Next week's assignment is start a fight with a stranger.
I saw Wallace Shawn die. Wallace Shawn is dead.
Yeah. We're not going out like that. We're not going out like that. We gotta go.
You're a jabroni.